Last week's video, over 1,000 of you guys watched it in a week, and that shocks me because it was a really bad resource. Now maybe that's the gag, but it tells me that you guys also, like me, like feeling bad sometimes. But that is not this week. I wanted to contrast that. I wanted to do something that was better, and that frankly I think every Japanese test taker should have, at least if you're taking the JLPT. I'm sure you know of drill books and mock exams, and if you're anything like me, and probably a bit of a prepper when it comes to tests, you've probably taken all of them that you can find online. So what's the next step, Chad, once I've run out of options? In my opinion, it's this book right here. This is the 15-day JLPT N2 drill and mock exam book, and I gotta say, it's something special. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Chad, and this week I just want to say a special thanks to our Patreons. You guys are amazing. I'm so appreciative. Appreciative. English is hard. Anyways, thanks to you guys, I'm actually able to purchase these study materials to then send out into the world in the form of video. So if you would like to thank the people that are making this possible, you can either become a Patreon or you can tell them, hey, patrons, thanks for Chad reviewing this. I really appreciate it. Which brings us, the actual drill book. Now this might look for, I don't know, maybe some low-level learner like a nightmare, and for higher-level learners, people taking the N2 in particular, looks like heaven. I'll say this before we actually go into it. It is a drill book, meaning not a textbook, not gonna teach you Japanese. However, it does prep us for the rough road ahead, and as such, I consider this a study tool, because not only does it give you correct and wrong answers, it does kind of help you review and make sure you can separate the subtleties of certain grammars and other things. This book in particular is just the kanji and vocabulary section, as well as the grammar section. Obviously, the JLPT has 2 more sections than that, but those are other books. I only got this one last time, and I actually really appreciate it. In fact, and I've said this in my road to JLPT Proficiency Series, I think is what I called it, that I think, honestly, because I did this the 15 days leading up to the JLPT, because it's supposed to be finished in 15 days, that I honestly believe I got probably 5 to 10 points better on the JLPT that year than I would have gotten otherwise. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Chad, 10 points on the JLPT, why is that worth buying a book for? I only failed the test by 13 points. Now, this was a $12 book, give or take, and it increased me by about 10 points. So let's say, you average about $1 per point. If you would have told last year Chad that he could pass the test by paying $13 a point, would he do it? Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people, especially the first or second time you take the test, you really only fail by maybe 5 to 10 points. So I'm not saying that this will increase your point scale. I'm not saying that you will instantly get 10 points better, but I could say from my experience as someone who actually used this, and this is not a sponsored video by this company by any means, this probably increased it 5 to 10 points, and that's almost what I needed to pass. So if you guys are like me and you need resources, this is definitely one that I recommend. Which leads us to the next part, and you're going, Chad, what makes this book so good? Why do I need it? I understand that, you get 15 days of drills and 3 mock exams, but what makes it good? Well, because it's a drill book, I kind of need to show you inside the book in order to give you guys a bit of an idea of why I like it. So, I filmed a part separate of this, prior to filming this part, weirdly enough, timelines are opposite in this world, where I can actually go through the book with you guys and show it to you. So, we'll go there right now. And we're back, everybody, with this special piece of art. This is the JLPT N2 Drill and Mock Text book from, I believe this is J Research Publishing, but don't hold me to that. And before we start, I'm actually going to remove, this is my notebook that I use, because this test can actually be retaken all the time, so I actually ended up buying a notebook, well, I got, from, as a gift, a notebook that I use to write all my answers in. So, as long as you don't write in this, in theory, that was my dog shaking her head, sorry, you should be able to, once a year redo this over and over again, just to get the info. Because a lot of people, and especially the people that would probably use this book, like myself, run out of practice tests throughout the year, at least new ones. So, what is with this textbook? Essentially, the part that got me was up here. So you could, in a short period of time, roughly 15 days, get a bunch of practice tests in right before the actual JLPT starts. And as you can see, minus the reflection because it's super bright out, you have kanji work, you have vocabulary work, and grammar. So this is not a full, complete test. They do have various forms of this, though, so it's definitely worth having this specific one for these tests. You should be able to finish it in about 15 days. There's also 3 practice tests and 15 drills, as you can see there. And I'm not sure if it's necessarily a bonus for anybody, but it does come with Chinese and Vietnamese explanations for certain parts of it. So as you can see, pretty standard. I actually ended up paying, right up there, 1,200 yen. I think I still have my receipt in here from where I bought it, and it was $12.96, so just under $13. And I gotta say, for 13 bucks is probably one of the best $13 I've spent in all of my test prep-ness. Without further ado, let's dive in. So the first thing you're gonna notice when you open this book up is the top section. So you have practice drills. You have, basically it's broken into 2 sections. You have work on your kanji and work on your vocabulary. You'll notice a little time section. You got about 10 minutes up here, and there's 17 questions per page. That's the same for every single piece. You can actually see on the side, it gives you which day you are on. So we are on day 3. I'm not showing you day 1 or 2 because when I first bought this book, I accidentally did it in pen. So it's giving away answers, and I don't want to do that for you guys. But every page, as you can see, is in the same format. Now on each page you can actually set the timer, and the time and the number of questions that are on here are not arbitrary. This is actually the amount of time it takes to do the real JLPT in this section. So to do 17 questions in 10 minutes is what you would need to do for the kanji and vocabulary section on the real test, which is really helpful. And it's also done essentially in the same format. Obviously it doesn't look like this. This kind of looks textbook and drilly. Probably because the real JLPT test is copywritten, so you can't actually do that. But the format's the same. So you start in section 1, and you get a vocabulary word where it just gives you the kanji, and you have to see how it's spelt. Then you go into section 2, which gives you just the kana, and then you have to figure out what is the correct kanji. You then have word piece, at least that's what I call it, and you have to figure out the correct piece that goes on the beginning or the end of whatever word is there. The only thing I don't like, and I don't know if you guys can see it or not, so you can see they have furigana underneath it. They don't do that in the real test. So the real test just has the kanji itself, so I think that's kind of an oversight that I don't like, because it really does give you the correct reading. It kind of gives you one piece of the puzzle, so that's one thing I don't like. Then we have the straight up vocabulary. You place the correct word up into the block, and that's several, I don't know, was that 5 questions in this one? Then you have what is the closest synonym, which is obviously another small part of the actual JLPT, and I like that they have this included. A lot of tests don't. Then I'm sure you guys have seen these block test questions. This always ends the vocabulary section, so it's good to see those in here as well. So you're seeing every individual facet of the actual test done. You're going to get 17 questions a page for 10 minutes. And the nice thing is, as long as you don't write in here, which is the mistake that I happen to make, you can actually reuse this as almost a mock test on its own. But the cool thing about this, it's not just drills. It's also got 3 mock tests, but we'll get there in a second. So, as you can see, this is the vocabulary, and if you can see on the edge of the paper there, as you go through the days, it'll scroll down until you're in what I would call the explanation phase. So this section is just entirely what are the things that are expressed in every single test, and they're obviously kind of by topic and function. The nice thing is they don't just give you the single word in a definition. They give you almost like sentences with context of how to use it. For you sentence minors, really nice. Also, the bottom of the page, they want to make sure that you really can confirm it. So these are confirmation drills that you can run to make sure you absolutely understand the things that you messed up on each subject for each time that you have done this. I mean, it's quite a substantial amount of this. It's a really good way to do it. Now, we're going to move on to grammar, which is the exact same function. Let's go to a page I didn't write in. Here. Ta-da! So as you can see, it's 12 minutes, 13 questions, which is the exact equivalent of what it'll be on the... Sorry, that's my dog. It's the exact same ratio that you're going to get on the real test, and it's the exact same thing. All of the components of what will go into the grammar test, I'm sure you guys have seen lots of individual pieces of this. I won't go into its specifics. All of these are actually a part of the real JLPT. And it's set in the same format along the side. It's set on a per day basis. And if you guys are wondering how to use this, it explains it in the beginning. It's not a secret. You pretty much do one grammar mock exam or whatever, drill, and then you do one vocabulary drill every single day. And it has 15 days worth, as you can see on the side, and then finally 3 mock exams that you could do at the very end. Now, once you get to the grammar, I do have a couple of issues with this. It really gives you a limited meaning for what the grammar is, so I wouldn't use this as your source of learning the grammar, but it can certainly help you kind of revise and remember, as well as giving you some more confirmation drills that if you mess something up, this will help you figure out if you actually remembered how it's supposed to be used or not. And a bunch of drills for that, one for every single time that you were doing the test and were messing something up. We're getting into the mock examinations, which is probably worth the $12 I paid for this alone. It is done in the same format. You have the same amount of questions in the same amount of time as the real test, and it has 3 of these done in 3 parts. Sorry. Done in 3 parts, so there's 2, 3, and then we go into grammar, 1, 2, and 3. Just really good stuff to have, and again, I recommend getting a notebook to write your answers in so you can constantly go over this on your own. Now, this is the Kaito, this is the answers, and the very first part of here is just the answers and kind of why. It's obviously not an explanation, but just a little kiss of why it actually is right, and this will help you self-grade. And then once you get to the back couple pages after the grammar, I think it's back into this nonsense. There it is. These are the practice test answers as well. It does give you, like, these mock sheets that you can do for exams if you want. Honestly, don't think you need to be ripping these pages out and doing much with them, because, again, it's super simple to just write number 1 and then write 1, 2, 3, 4 and just circle the one you think is right, because then it preserves the book and then you don't have to do that. That is the gist of the book. Again, this is not for learning Japanese. This is strictly test prep, so the theories you should know, the vocabulary, the kanjis, and the grammar when taking this. However, I will personally say I did this the 15 days up and leading to the JLPT last year. I honestly attribute probably 5 to 10 points of benefit just to this book. And I don't know about you guys, but that's actually quite substantial in the JLPT. 5 to 10 points. I mean, I only failed last year by 13 points, so 10 points really is significant, and I cannot recommend this drill book and practice book, or really any drill and practice book, enough, especially if it's only $12. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, a couple things you could do. You could drop a like down below. It just tells YouTube Senpai that, hey, YouTube, this Chad guy, I want him to marry my daughter, or whatever you want to tell YouTube. It does that in the form of a like. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or compliments, you are more than welcome to leave them in the comment box down below. I do personally read all of them. Obviously, this is not a paid sponsorship. They do not pay me a cent, but if you would like this book, it's a pretty easy find. I'm sure you guys are, relatively able to search this in Japanese on Google, and if you're not, why are you taking the N2? Final catch-ups. I have 1 spot on the manga club available for the rest of the summer, so if you're quick enough, you're able to get in there. If you'd like 4 fresh, spicy Japanese manga sent to your house directly from Japan every single month, check out the Patreon or the manga club link down below. I think that'll be it for now. I don't need to keep this running long. I appreciate you guys sticking along with me. Love hard, love deep, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.